the way she's framing it is she is lying flat out in the fact that these people have gone on record and actually stepped on her and actually said that what she does is bad for the party and that she's a cancer in some ways and that she isn't good for the party and that she isn't as useful because of the way she approaches politics. Now, to some extent, I agree with that in how she approaches her politics, but I won't go as far as to say that. What's good? It's your boy, the Black Anglo-Saxon, your favorite neighborhood political scientist, and I'm back here with another video. Today, we're going to be talking about Jasmine Crockett. She was having a conversation with Conscious Lee, who just maybe a few months ago was talking about delineating from the Democratic Party. But I guess now I'm right here, he's in this conversation with Jasmine Crockett, trying to show some favor. But without further ado, we're going to get into it. Please hit the like button, hit the share button if you can. Please subscribe. And without further ado, here we go. So this is them right here in the conversation.
And, you know, they love.
Man, listen, on my mom, I got a lot of other things I want to say and ask, but I'm not going to do it on time. So just right here, just to wrap it up, there's a lot of people in my audience that have kind of lost faith in the Democratic Party uniquely, and they feel a little pessimistic what's going on right now. I know you fighting the fight and you're doing your thing. What would you tell my audience that's kind of losing support or losing hope in the Democratic Party uniquely? Because I feel like it's a lot more.
I don't think we should ever put our faith in man, period. Whether we're talking about a party or anything else, like that's the first flaw, right? So the thing is, though, you can say that you feel a way about the party, but if the party is made of people and you decide that you are not going to participate, then let me tell you, this party will continue to disappoint you. So I have my own fair share of disappointments. Please believe I have my own fights, but at the same time, I can never side with white supremacists, and I understand.
All right, so right there, you know, I agree with her to some extent, especially when she talk about actually going ahead and making sure that you're engaging some way. I don't necessarily think or believe that the Democratic Party is always the best avenue to do that. I think especially now moving forward in the moment that we're at in this particular time and moment, they might have lost some value because unfortunately, when you look at the Democratic Party, they spend more time, unfortunately, fighting the left wing of their party, especially when they're in office and when they do have majorities, than they do spend in the energy they expend on fighting actual Republicans, which I think is very, 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 which I think is very telling. So to that, I'll concede, you know, slightly when it comes to making sure that you are engaged in some way. Now, fundamentally, I disagree with her on the fact that it is the better situation because they are, or what she is implying is not racist, because the Democratic Party has its racism. Liberalism, especially what they call now the socialists, also have ways in which they are and participate in racism. And an example of that is how Bernie Sanders, or we've talked about over here, Zoran Mamdani, will actually undermine race by talking about class without acknowledging the fact that this country, especially that party as well, has also exploited race through the lens of class. And what do I mean by that? So in America, to get to class, they had to use race because race was the first class. But what they have a tendency to do is talk in these ways where let's create these policies where it touches and sweeps across all disparate communities. And they don't necessarily want to actually really address what has happened to Black people, which is why they attach brown to everything now, which is why they've created POC, which is why they created BAPOC and all these different things to make the logical line that she's trying to create here is disingenuous by far, because even though the Republicans and GOP exploit and kind of display their racism in a more blatant manner, we cannot sit and act like the Democrats don't do that in a number of ways. And the main other way is that they capitulate to the quote unquote, what people would call the swing voter or the disenfranchised white voter that they chase every election cycle, that takes away the actual political fortitude or the resources that would go into campaigning and basically kowtowing to us versus this group that they continue to chase. And that in itself is racist. That in itself is probably, in my opinion, worse than actually just being explicitly racist, because it allows you a sense of cover. And I'm not going to continue and go down the long road of how, the Democratic Party participates in racism, because I'm not going to go again into the whole kente cloth situation and the mockeries that they make of Black people, Black culture, and the fact that they don't do and have substantial or substantive policies that actually affect our community specifically. Everything is a very general kind of approach to policies to circumvent the conversations around the atrocities. And a lot of it is done by the liberals, the socialists, and those people who don't necessarily want to have these conversations. But I'm going to go ahead and get back into it.
Understand that there is no perfection that is walking on this earth, but I need to do my part to see where it is that I fit in best. And the best place for me is the Democratic Party. It doesn't mean that it's the perfect place. And that's what you have to decide. If you are
Okay, I could agree with her on that. She said it's not the perfect place.
okay with somebody consistently trampling on you and acting as if you are less than simply because of how God made you, which is to be wonderfully made, to be clear, what they fear is us and our greatness. And so I got to side with the people that at least.
And the other thing that I'll mention and bring up is that Jasmine Crockett, for what it's worth, I think is right in a lot of ways, but I think this is the Achilles heel of a lot of people, especially Black people within the party, and that the way she's framing it is she is lying flat out in the fact that these people have gone on record and actually stepped on her and actually said that what she does is bad for the party and that she's a cancer in some ways and that she isn't good for the party and that she isn't as useful because of the way she approaches politics. Now, to some extent, I agree with that and how she approaches her politics, but I won't go as far as to say that I think that it is a zero sum in terms of there is usefulness in what Jasmine Crockett actually does. But unfortunately, she's in a party that is doing the same thing to her that she's talking about why she is in it. And so it's real crazy that she kind of thinks and feels this way when the very people who she's in a party with actually don't like her.
All right, fine. You Black and we okay with that. I can't side with the people that are saying, let me defund the HBCU. I can't side with the people that are saying, hey, if you get a free lunch in school, never mind, we're going to make sure that the kiddos are not going to be able to eat. I can't side with the people that are okay with increasing the Black wealth gap and making sure that it only increases. And so the only people that are seeing more money in their pocket are the Elon Musk of the world, who gets $8 million a day, while at the same time telling
Whoa. So I was with her on a school lunch and all of that. I agree with her. But let's not act like Democrats don't also increase the wealth gap by creating policies and using quantitative easing and all of these different things that don't necessarily bode well with the average American. And so in that case, no, absolutely, she's definitely wrong. The Democrats actually do participate in policies that make the wealthy more wealthy. Like literally, quite literally, the tech bros are at the power and have reached the stature that they have reached in large part due to the Democrats, in large part due to the people within her party, because it might not be her specifically, but the people within her party who actually create and build out these policies that, again, contribute to these wealthy people not having to pay their fair share in taxes. Because again, like I said, they always end up capitulating to the GOP anyway. And we're not going to sit around here and act like that they don't participate in the Met Galas and they aren't chummy with the actual elites themselves. So that's, again, double talk, disingenuous. I feel you on, them not being explicit, but come on, Crockett. Come on. Come on, man. Come on, man. I know you got cake for your team, though, so I ain't too mad at her. She got cake.
Take that away from you. And for those kids that are on Medicaid, where you're only getting $10 a day so the kids can be safe, we're going to take away maybe a combination of $16 a day for you. But hey, my homie Elon, you're going to keep getting your $8 million a day. Like, I can't side with that nonsense
At all.
So my point is this. If you're disappointed, then in my opinion, you're probably paying attention.
Look, as they cut, I agree with her on the Elon situation, but take money from the CBC too. They don't need that. They don't need that money that they be getting. They are kind of useless at this point. So if you want to keep that energy, keep that same energy, man. And I get it. We Black, but keep that same energy. Be consistent.
But you have to decide what you are going to do with that disappointment. You can continue to lose or you can decide to win. And the only way, in my opinion, that you can win is if you decide to be involved. And that means making this party exactly what it should be. But it can't be there without your voice.
So I agree with her on being involved, but I don't agree with her on it has to be specifically within the party. You can be involved in a multitude of different ways. You can be involved at the local level, at your community level, at your community meetings, at your councilman level, alderman level. There are a number of ways that a person can engage with politics without actually being within the party apparatus. And again, I'm a registered Democrat. I do have my DNC membership card, but I will tell people that that is not a absolute, especially in this moment in time where, again, the Democrats do operate in very duplicitous nature,
Y'all heard what she said. The only thing I want to tell y'all is that the anger y'all have around children, drag queens in the classroom, when we got trans people in the classroom, what is anger when these folks is only talking about taking money from the classroom? What is the manufacturer outrage? I'm gonna start lying and saying, hey y'all, these drag queens is trying to steal free lunch from y'all kids.
All right, so this is, the end of that video, but I think, Jasmine Crockett makes a few good points, but at the same time, there's a lot of double talk and a lot of duplicitous nature when it comes to, just being fully and honest, about the state of the Democratic Party and where it is right now in terms of, them engaging in racism as well. I wish she would take this opportunity to take more power for herself, and not just kowtow for the Democratic Party. It's sad to see her get trampled on and discarded and still want to cape for a party that doesn't really love you to your full potential. And, I want to see better for you. But I understand you got a cape. I understand you got to, curry water. I get it. It is what it is. But let me know what y'all think. Do y'all agree with what she's talking about? Where you stand on the issues as it relates to this video? And let me know what you think, man. Go ahead. Please like the video, share the video, leave a comment.